Hey you! Yes you! Do you want to learn how to use the CGI Thomas rig? Do you desire to create animation like this? Then watch this video. We'll show you all the details of step by step in order of how to use the CGI Thomas armature rig. And I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you. Why hello everybody, this is Johnny on 52 here and welcome to part 2 of how to use Thomas, the CGI Thomas in Blender. And in today's episode we will be showing you how to animate and his whole rig system that I talked about in the other episode. Now, if you see my screen right now, you could see like two little programs that I have, NVIDIA and MSI Afterburner. Which is this, I am working on the new computer right now, which I'm so happy about. Now, let's get started. Now, if you've seen my last video, I did talk about making a file and putting your save in a blender.t or blender or Thomas B. Now, hopefully you did see the text because I accidentally deleted a certain type of save file and had to redo everything, or that could be something else, but yeah. So right now I have some projects that I don't want to spoil for the next animation, but here we go. You want to first locate your file that you have for your Thomas and go into the one that we made, our first render. Ah, that's the spot. Back with our cameras, and if everything is set up right, we are here. Now, because we're going to be animating, I do want to help you in some tips. First, go into the output settings. Now, I'm going to get into these things later, but right now you want to go into the resolution. Make sure it's your type of or a certain type of resolution you like, or 1920 by 1080, or even 720p, which is 1080 by 720p, which will make your renders faster but look less quality. But more higher the thing or the resolution, the more slower it will be on your system. But because I'm working on a little beefier system of hardware, it should work for me. But if you do have a lower system, I recommend either 720p or sorry about that, or 720p, or go into your simple settings on the rendering and go to the samples and lower this max subdivide, and you know what, just for count, even this. Now this is for the textures that are on the model, but if you just want to have a little bit smoother experience, you could just turn this on to 2, but if you don't want to, just keep it to no limit. But yeah, and I did have a bunch of other settings. Oh, and if you're wondering what type of hardware I'm using, this will kind of give you an explanation. But if you have a different type of hardware, okay, so I found out what these are. This one is for older NVIDIA cards. This one's for the RTX cards. This one is AMD. This one is Apple. So yeah, if you know what type of hardware you're using, you should pick one of these and hit this little question mark. That will definitely help. Oh, and make sure that your autosave is off because it does save a backup. And because I'm teaching this to probably people who has limited amount of storage of under a terabyte, maybe, this will kind of fill up your hard drive, SSDs, M.2s very quickly. So to save space, turn off the autosave. I know this will kind of save your butt, but just turn off, and if you want the shortcut, Control S. Okay, now we got that out of the way. Let's get into how each parts of the CGI Thomas move. I know I talked about it in the other video, if you go check it out, but I didn't explain all of the features. Like, I only explained how to make him smile. That's it. So, in today's video, I'll be showing you all the features that are in the CGI Thomas rig. Or his full rig explained to the best I can. Now, what you want to do is to click on his rig. Not any of these. Not any of the lights, the whistle, smoke box. Only his armature. Just his armature. Now, right here is object mode. Go to object mode and go to object mode and then go to pose mode. You have to remember pose mode. Now this is self-explanatory, but if you're not aware, I will show you all the things, or all the little features of this whole rig, or all the parts. Let's start easy, which is, well, the bone. Now you're probably wondering, what? This thing has bones? Well, if we go into edit mode, you'll definitely see these are bones. Basically like digital bones for your character. But because it's a different system, I'm not going to explain too much, but yeah, these are the bones that connect the model to, so we could move him around more easier. And let's say X. You can make him go up or down, left and right, side to side. On this bone. Now we're going to skip the face bone and go straight from the eye to this bone right here. This is the eye control bone, or eye control on the top left. Now what this does is, if I press G, his eyes move around. You can make look left, right, up, down, side, 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 or make his eyes go round and round. You could also tweak this if you wanted this control thing to be closer, near, further. It'll give you different results, but I like to choose -3 because it feels more comfortable. Now, this thing, probably wondering, why is it a circle and why is there 2 of them? Do I have to animate, or do I have to use both? Nope, this is just one piece. It's more easy for the animators to get the rig in motion, so they could animate the rig better. So the bone is right here, but this is showing you the better parts where you find the bone, or to click and you could adjust the bone. And in this part, you can move the wheels forward, backwards, and yeah, that's about it. That's about it of your animation, or how your control of the wheels. Now, I'm not going to get too much into detail of the ground bone and the god bone. My word, I am so sorry about that. But basically, I'm going to say this. Look up videos of Thomas bouncing on some uneven track, and you'll see. I'm going to just say this bone you could control the same way as this bone. So yeah, you could move this forward and backwards. This was this, and you could do this as well. So yeah, there gives you a little insight of how the animators move around this blue idiot. Well, not blue right now, but yeah. Now, I wasn't gonna get into these, but I'll just show you. These are his side doors. Yep, that's all they do. They can even snap into place. So yeah, those are his sides. Basically for people to get in and out. And also they're rigged so that they could stop at certain type of places during animation. And let's get into these. These are his whistle controls. Basically, if you see wonky whistles, if you know a certain type of episode where Thomas's whistles go back and forth, then you had a then you saw the worst season of the show. And these little things, you could move them up and down and make Thomas's whistle go up and down. Those will be definitely coming in handy for your animations if you want to blow the whistle. Now, there's also others like buffers, couplings, and the lamp. Yep. Now, sadly, the back lamp doesn't move. So if you're hoping that you want to like animate the back lamp falling off Thomas, or yeah, just falling off Thomas, sadly you can't do that. Now to the dreaded part of his control panel on the side. Now you're probably wondering, what in the world is this control panel? Is it important? Definitely important. This whole control panel is called face root. Basically, all the parts that makes Thomas's face move. And gotta say, we did talk about this when making a smile for him in the last episode, but I'll talk to all the details. The first one on the top row is basically his whole eyes control, or not eye control, but upper face eye control. I think that's how to say it. Basically of how we blink, eyebrows, and that's basically the quick explanation. So if you see these two dials called blink left and blink right, well, they make Thomas's eyes open and close. Now, I did talk about this, the properties tab. Now this is actually extra detail or extra stuff for the eyes, or the blinking or eyelids, or whatever you wanted to call these. So on the top top one, which is lower eye, is basically where you could make Thomas's eye could do this. Sort of like twitchy eye if you want. Now wide, I think it's supposed to be for a surprise, like extra wide for a surprise, like a surprise face if you want. And you could do it on the other side too. Now let's go into the middle. Now these are for the brows, or the eyebrows. For Thomas's eyebrows. And if I could put G, you could see his eyes go up and down. You can make him smug, you can make him surprised, or just put him at 0 and keep it like that. Now, on the properties, now he does have a properties tag again, and you guessed it, you could make him look mad, angry, or that. Sad, which if you really know how to make a sad face, or hold on. Yeah, there we go. It's like a smiling sad. Yeah. But yeah. So those are the controls for his eyes. For the top row of the eyelids, brows, whatever you ever Tom. This is the top row. Now the top second row is, well, for the cheeks. His mouth cheeks. There you go. Basically, you can move them up, move them down, and that's it. Or make them puff up. Like he's holding his breath, if you know how to do that. Now, this one kind of got me, like, got me when I first ever opened up this rig. I was expecting some type of other control for the nose, or if you already seen, a nose. And yeah, literally nose controls, which is kind of funny. You can make it like left, like sniff and sniff, sniff and sniff on the right. And if you're wondering what is this weird bee, well, you can make it blush. There's a separate type of texture that make him blush. So yeah. Now to the middle row, which is the most parts of his mouth controls. Now, you already saw this one where I talked about how to do all the things. Oh, and by the way, you have to use X. This little X near all these little things and transforms. There's a little X at the side where it could literally copy the other side. Like I'm holding the right cheek, the left cheek also moves as well. Whoa. Yeah. And the middle one is just moving the mouth up or down. Or shifting the mouth left to right. Oh. You also want to be careful when doing this because sometimes your teeth would clip into the mouth. So yeah, keep that in mind when you're animating. Now you're probably wondering what the heck do these things do? Well, I think I showed them in the other video, but I'll show them here. This one is for the lips. Like you can make them go up. He makes that type of face. Go down, normal. Bottom, extra smile, down, normal. So that's all the controls on here. Now, for the properties tab of the mouth shift, basically it's all the lips, like the bottom lip of in or out, top in or out, better closing mouth, I think. It's to get rid of any type of other teeth that you might see. M. I think if you know a certain type of episode, I think it's with Emily. Oh wait, no, it's with James and Emily, and other characters like move their mouths in a weird way. Seriously, you can make an engine with a face more expressive than just tilting them left or right, and then, woo woo. If you know that part of the episode, this is. Oh, and you could also make her O's as well. Well, sorta, I think. But yeah, that's all the controls for this. Well, for this part of the mouth. There is controls for the chin, which is, I'm surprised that they actually kept this in. Or surprised that there's actually chin animation. But, I'm not judging. Anyway, this is where this one on the bottom corner, oh yeah, we're on the bottom corner now, is where you can open a mouth. Open wide. Open wide. Time to clean your teeth. I'm funny. Anyway, yeah, you could yeah, instead of some other rigs that uses other controls for the mouth, uh basically it's just a normal up and down, which is cool, but I bet annoying for other people that are used to a full mouth rig. Anyway, moving on. This one is teeth controls, which is oh wait. Open wide. And teeth controls. Yeah, I don't really know what the point of this, but some way you could the teeth could be moved back, move forward. Yeah. It's strange that they actually put teeth controls in a freaking Thomas model. Well, that was our no, wait, that wasn't our projections. That was anyway, we of the two bottom and top teeth. Oh, I need some water. 1 sec. Stay hydrated. Ah, there we go. Now, you're probably wondering what the heck is this T and L. I'm going to start with a T. We have to open up Thomas's mouth again. And, grind him a little bit. And, tongue controls. Yep. Glittery tongue controls. Of curve up, flat, narrow, out, up. You want up and that. And down. Yeah, I'm kind of confused on that, but yep. That's all controls there of the tongue. My word, this is awkward, but I don't care. Oh god, I'm sorry about that. Anyway, now the L. Now this wasn't inputted in the CGI Thomas or in the CGI Thomas in Maya, but somebody decided to make a or the same person that you saw in the other episode of where to get the rig and yada yada. is that this is for the lamp. And god dang it. So yeah, this is the lamp controls. Put it on 1, it turns on. It controls the front and back. I kind of wish that whoever made this made a second one so we could like turn off the back, but I bet it will be too time consuming and whatever. But yeah, so that's the light controls for the front. All right, after some time, I'll do part 2 right now. So you got the basics down. You know how to control the eyes, the body, and the ground, I guess, or the god. Now, let's get into animations. You know what? Let's start off with something easy. A look to the left, right, just Thomas looking left and right. Bring this up. Now this is your timeline. Now, let's first turn on this, the auto key. Now, because I'm using Blender 4.2.3, this will be different in Blender 4.3. Yes, 4.3 is out. It will instead be a red dot, like a traditional recording button, like how I'm using OBS right now. It's recording. And basically, it doesn't record like a normal video thing, but think of it as a stop motion project, but more flick. You have more stuff or space, or god. Basically, it feels like stop motion, but a lot more better. Like you could actually control stuff. So in the timeline, so let's get going. I'm gonna put it at 20. Press G, and it will give it. Press G twice. Sorry about that. Press G twice, and it will show up this. Now this is basically your keyframes, and also is on here as well. Now I will be going into like what are all these things, but right now let's do a simple left and right. So what I usually do is go to next frames or frame 30, press G, and look to the left, or go to the right, or for our point of view, it's left. Okay. Now you see these two. Once we play it, actually, let me turn down the timeline that these should do for right now. You can see that Thomas's eyes. Yeah, you could see Thomas's eyes move left to right, which is quite good. Now, you could also make it pause by what I did was Control D, and then I moved this. It made another one. And then you could just move it to the other side. Like this. Sorry about that. Now, you see this other green dot. This is the original Z axis. We do not have the Z, so I just right click and clear signal keyframes. Now what that does is that it gets rid of this for the Z axis, So it could be fully. And I could also move stuff in the timeline. Now, I wasn't gonna get into this part, but if you right click, oh god, I don't even know that word, but if you go to this one, you could change the inputs, or, oh boy, or they call them the F curves. Basically, this is a, well, I'll just show you. Now, the bezel curve is that it slows down everything and then speeds it up, and then slows it down again. Now, you can't really tell from that much of here, but it is working. Now, if I change it to linear, oh, you could also see the eyes moved. You could see that it's like more robotic-y type. It goes left to right, more robotic-y instead of more smooth transition of speeding up and slowing down. Now, constant, it's just a simple thing. It's constant. Now, you could either choose linear, but I prefer bezel because it kind of gives it more realistic of the eyes. But that's a symbol of animation. Now, you're probably wondering, hey, why not do a full animation or do the 25 seconds? Well, it's more complicated. Now, there is certain type of animation styles that you could actually choose. Mostly 3 if I could count, if that's more optional, because we're gonna get into how I do the wheels, how I move move Thomas, and basically there's three types of animations you could do. The first one, the first one is the lazy option, which is just moving Thomas, but there's no dramatic detail, which will start at first. The second one is you're doing okay, or it's good, but lack of other details, like more of the small ones, like the coupling and like some features like coupling and maybe a little bit of shake or more shaking. The third option is fully detailed animation, where you literally like animate like smaller details like the couplings, his body, and getting his whole body to shake and slightly move back and forth. But let's start with the lazy/easy option. Make sure you're in your pose mode, and let's start. Now, move Thomas back a bit. You could probably move him around to, you know what, let's do minus 35 on here. And you're probably wondering, okay, so what do we do now? Well, it started, and make sure your timeline is at 1. So let's put it at, oh, and by the way, here's a little tip. I know it's a bunch of math, but if you have your frame rate either at 30 or 25, if you have your frame rate at 30 or 25, that means, and every 30 or 25 seconds is literally a second. Or 30 frames per second is literally a second in this whole thing. So right here is 1 second. So be sure when you're doing animations, try and do some math, like a little bit of math in your head, like 30, 60, and 90. Literally, that's 3 seconds of animations right there. Because remember, we're not doing it as quick. Seriously, if you're trying to do like 120, 200, or something crazy like that, please choose the 30, or if for regular Thomas and Friends, 25 frames per second. But I like to choose 30 because it's a little bit smoother, but a-okay. But remember, also you could do this in a calculator. Put 30 times 3 and you'll get 90. Literally 90 frames per second. Or 25 and 25, 50. Oh, oops, where is it? Oh, 25, 50. That's your 2 frames per second. Anyway, so let's put it here. Now, Thomas is over there, but we could use this. Move it to 0. And let's say we want to add more stuff later. But right now, let's just move that back. And put it to there. Now, if we go and check the animation. Oh, very slowly. You can see that Thomas is... Oh, I do... Never mind. You can see that Thomas moves slowly and then comes up quickly. This is because that we have it set to Bezier for the F-curve. Now, if we change it to linear, you'd see that he's just moving along at a normal pace. Now, you could change that, but now I do have my tricks up my sleeve of how in the world we could make him seem like he's moving fast at the start and then slows down. But you know what? Because we're starting in the easy turn, I'll do it for right now. So you have your Thomas in linear. Go and change it to linear. Let's do it there. And we got this animation. Now I want you to do is go to the wheels and click to one, or go to one on a timeline, click X and give it, and right click, and it should be a, hold on, right click and insert keyframe. Oops, I put too much. Don't worry, you could just right click and clear the keyframes on these ones. Now we're going to go to the end of the timeline, which is 150 that we put in. Now for the wheels, I kind of think of it like a car, mostly because of how the wheels rotate, like 55 RPM or 55,100 RPM, sort of like this. Because lower values will definitely have a, but if you have higher values, the wheels will spin at the faster. So now let's see the animation. Oh dear. Looks like our Thomas is having wheel slips. Don't worry. Let's change it to linear. Now, when we animate, he's chugging along. Yeah. You can also like change it, but remember, basically this, like if you're doing like more complicated frame rates or more time, like basically up the frame rate to the endpoint. Basically, it will take longer. Heck, I think I put like 10,000 just, but the point was all the way like at the thousands or something, like very long. So you definitely need to watch when you're animating, okay? So now we got our Thomas moving along, and if it looks like this, that means you done your easy bit. You made Thomas go from one area to the zero. Congratulations. But this kind of looks like a forced stop. So the second one, which is slightly okay, but will get the job done. Now, you need to put your God bone to bezel, and your wheels to bezel. Now, if we do the animation, you see Thomas speeds up and then slows down. That's good, right? Well, it looks like he's just speeding up and slowing down. So I'll show you how to fix this little issue. First, let's go to the God bone. Click this little icon, go to the graph editor. Now, if you've seen any Blender tutorials of people using Blender, they will say that the graph editor is the most difficult thing in the world. But for, I think, a train when you're animating, it could be the most easiest thing. So click G, or wait. Now, I forgot a step. Now, you're wondering, what the heck are these? Well, these are adjustments that you could see right now. Like, I could move these back and forth or up and down. But, yeah. These will kind of make or break your animations. So, but what you need to do for just a quick Thomas animation, click G at this end, or click it, click G, and then hold, and then click X on your keyboard, and then scroll, and then push it all the way to the left. Oh, and also hit this normalize button so that you could actually see the whole graph like better. And now if we play the animations, you could see Thomas's wheels are slipping and sliding. Meanwhile, this is just moving along. Now, if we do the same thing with Thomas's wheels, you can see that they're working along with the God bone. And I gotta say, it's very satisfying to see this little animation come to life. There you go. We're kind of halfway done, or halfway on this part. Easy, medium, and hard. That's what I could say. So, you got your animation on the timeline, and you perfected it. Let's do some other stuff. Yeah, like his whole body shake while he's moving along the track. Now you could use, now I just use bevel for this, so go to the little circle with all these, go to the -X, and let's do some animations on here. Insert keyframe, and make sure it's on 0, and then move the timeline up to 10 seconds. Now, 0, 4, oh, don't worry, just click it, put a minus at the end, and it will go and Thomas' body will go up. What I'm doing is adding some small detail, oops, to the model so that it could look like he's having a little bounce. So I'll just time lapse this. Actually, wait. Before I time lapse this, you want to make sure that you have basically 00, your numbers, and 00 and your numbers. Like basically these four. The other 0 don't count. So what you want to do for the second to last, or second to first and second to last, is that you want to opposite the numbers. Like you want to put all the numbers to a different thing, and you can make Thomas go like this. Now just hit left mouse button, scroll all the way to here, and then Shift D, and you could copy all of these. Now because we did had, and you could see that I made Thomas do this. Look at him just going along his day. Now if you want to put like extra more detail, is that you could get rid of this single keyframe or some the others. They'll be orange. So now make sure, there we go. I'm gonna put a 50 and 09. So now when Thomas is puffing up, he goes straight to the 9, basically giving him a looking like he's going, looks like his brakes are on and he's slowing down. Then you could add a little bit of bounce, like let me just put a little bit more on the timeline. Quickly make a minus 0. Pick a lower number, 6. 02. 01. 0 again. Basically, you could do this. And voila, you got your animation. And you can see all the little details. Now I was gonna plan to like show you how to do like a swing where the whole company system like comes up, comes down when Thomas is braking, doing the normal braking stuff. But yeah, just give a little bit of detail of weight on the model. And showing you how the eyes move. Let's go back. Let's make him look like he's looking around. Obviously, I want to put at the right frame. So if we go to, oh yeah, I press. Okay, go. If you want to go into camera, go to view, viewport, then camera. Now he pops up into frame 40. So I'm going to do it in frame 30. And let's put that to 0. Looking left. Move that. Looking right. Now, I do recommend that you do your face, like your face animations before you start like making like movements on your model, so it could be more easier. But because I'm under time crunch, I'm showing you how to do it, how to do it, But yeah, I do recommend of you guys animating your face first versus animating your body, then your face second. Your body first and then your face second. There we go. Do 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 do. Then yeah, you got your eyes moving. Now for the fun part. Blinking. And it's a simple system. Heck, you could even copy and paste this, but let's do this. It'll go on both sides. And go 1, 2, 3. And close the eyes. Make sure you have both. And 1, 2, 3. And open them. And you get your simple blink animation. And I recommend Bezier for all of the animations because I did try and use linear one time, but it looks very stiff. So Bezier is your kind of more friendly option, and you get your eyes blinking. Now you just go to the time. Sometimes if you want, you could just skip a pair and yeah, just Control D. Ooh, this one's gonna be my favorite. So Control D. Now what you want to do is kind of make it longer. The reason why I made it longer is because it showed him when stopping. So yeah, you could easily add those details. Now let's get into the eyebrows. It's sort of the same system. 1, 2, 3. You could either just go straight down or to the left a bit to make them like this. 1, 2, 3. Copy. Now, I add a little bit more detail to these eyes, and you're going to see why. So what you want to do is go to your frame that you've chosen, which is mine, like frame 40, and move the eyes up, like almost like this, or a little bit like this. Then choose both of them, of the right and left, and then go to 1, 2, 3. Or wait, actually skip that other part, but make sure it's all in this. And yep, bouncing eyelids, like, or brows, I guess. Sort of give them a little bit more bounce in the eyelids. And you can see how cool is that. You get a little bounce. You could also like mess around a little bit, like add a tiny bit of movement to your brows. So I like this. Then the heavy braking, sort of the same thing. On. Ah, there it is. And voila! Animation at its very best. Now we got all that done. Now you're wondering, okay, so how do we render? Well, go to your camera view. My lights just flicker a bit. I just hope that. Now, in this output tab, now what you want to do is that go to output, go into this output tab. Now, please change this file format from PNG to FFX video. Now, if you're not comfortable with FFX video, because I heard that if something happens to your render, it could crash, but I mostly chose this one because I do like how it ends up at the end. But yeah. Now, color is RGB, of course, and encoder. This will be this is important. Please do not skip out on this. MPEG4, which is MP4, and audio. Now, if you have audio in your seeds, please change it to MP3. And that's all it for this one. Now, for this output, right here on this file, you want to go... So, if you have your own blend file, you could choose it, but because you probably don't have it, or if you do, but anything, but we're going to choose our normal file, and this will be the file location of your whole thing. Actually, could I make a file in here? Oh man, well, instead we're in a file, okay. But if you could like make a video file for, or animation file for your Blender's animation, so you could save them, please do. But we're gonna just press accept. It'll be right there. And oh right, I forgot to name it. Let's name it to first AN. There you go. Then just press accept and it'll be all good. Now, if you have your right settings, now check your settings, make sure that everything is good. We could turn samples off for right now, but if you're having some lag issues, you could turn on the samples. Motion blur. Now, I recommend 50%, but you could choose your others, or you could choose whatever. But also your shutter curve. I recommend this first one, and film normal performance. This will be a little bit important. I recommend persistent data. For PCs with lower equipment versus mine, I recommend either 90 on this memory trim or memory time marks, and for more basic, if you have a GPU or whatever, maybe you know what, if you're running on a gamer laptop, let's see, 156 for PCs with graphics cards. I heard the magic number is 256. Now, I did found a better one for my specs, at least 400, 480. So you could just change this memory thing. It will save, and persistent data that will just help speed up the animations. And oh, and if you want a little bit of more faster on the thing, oh, oh crap, how did that? Usually this noise threshold will be set to you're set to 100 or 100. I recommend you pushing it up to either 400 or 1000 if you're on lower hardware, but I recommend maybe 400 and max samples at the lower end for 128 max samples. But for my specs, I use 400 or 300 and optics because I have a graphics card in here. And I'll stop the recording and show you the results. Well, after it's done rendering, you could just hit the X button and don't forget to save, and then go and look at your work. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial of how to animate, and please like, share, and subscribe to this video. Please share this with a friend, or share this to a friend that is learning how to use the CGI Thomas on animating. The first video will show you where to get them, but this video is definitely a good help for young animators who don't know how to use a CGI Thomas, which is kind of crazy, but hopefully everything everything will be all right on your end. I hope you have a nice day, and stay soon for my other work. Hope to reach 400 subscribers one day. And thank you all.